Be it enacted by the people of the state of Mississippi, Section 1, Article 3 of the Constitution of the state of Mississippi is hereby amended by the addition of a new section to read Section 33, Person Defined. As used in this Article 3 of the state constitution, the term person or persons shall include every human being from the moment of fertilization, cloning, or the functional equivalent thereof. In other words, it will expressly say that life begins at conception. Now, this, of course, runs afoul of federal law, which makes abortion legal. This will no doubt end up in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, and so there is where the fight begins. But even before then, and I believe the people of Mississippi will vote in favor of this. When that happens, I do believe you're going to have, you're going to have other states do the same thing. Barbara Thomas is here with us now. She has spent time working with communities and specifically with families, and this is one of your more passionate issues, this right to life issue, correct?
Yes, it is.
Hit that red button right next to you there, to your right. There you go. All right?
Yes, it is.
All right.
There
Now tell us why.
Well, I've worked in the pro-life movement arena for over 20 years. I would say about 30 years. The past 30 years, I've run my own nonprofit organization, which is a pregnancy health center. That's what we deal with on a regular basis. So this is something that's very dear to my heart, and you know, we see the devastating effects of abortion on women every day. So this is why I've been in this fight so long.
Now, when you say devastating effects, what do you mean?
The well, the devastating effects like the psychological issues women deal with, not only the baby, you know, where the baby is concerned, but, you know, the effects on the mother after the abortion. So there are a lot of issues that surrounds this that, you know, that have not been adequately dealt with. And on a daily basis, we try to deal with it, not only we, but many pregnancy health centers across the United States and abroad.
You know, one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish with this discussion here, because Kevin and I talked about it earlier, and that people disagree passionately about this, that, of course, that is allowed, but we do want to have the discussion in a very civil way, because it's a civil issue, and people have the right to disagree. We're all grown, and we're Americans, and that's what we do.
That's right.
But so, this issue now, because that has been one of the questions, when does life actually begin? And so, there's a battery of elected officials, scientists, and religious officials who are in Mississippi who agree that life begins when the egg is fertilized, or when the fusion of the egg and the sperm happens, and the 23 chromosomes here and the 23 chromosomes there get together. That's life.
Yes.
And they want to codify that into law with this measure. What do you think it does to the education of people to have this happening, that people becoming informed about the issue because of how Mississippi is going at it?
Well, for so many years, the people on the other side, the pro-choice, they have tried to convince people, women, everybody involved, that this is not a life, that it's just a blob of tissue. And so, you know, if you look at it from way back there at the beginning of conception, one may think that it is, but it is not. You know, we believe that, personally believe that, you know, technology has kind of caught up with the myth. You know, we're able to go into the womb now and actually see what's there, and see the lifeness in what's there. So when the sperm and egg come together, I believe that it is a life. You know, I kind of...
Well, save that thought for us. We're going to take a quick break and come back. Barbara Thomas is going to be here with us, and you can join us as well. Stephen's on hold. Join him at 499-9526, 499-WJBO. This evening, they're voting on it today. Barbara Thomas is here with us. She currently serves on the National Board of Directors for Learn Life Education and Resource Network. Has spent some time working here with families, and this issue is important to her, and I know that many of you have opinions about it. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Amendment 26 in Mississippi. It will define life as beginning at conception. So let's talk about that. Let's go to the phones here at 499-9526.
I should probably point out that up until this point, with the Roe v. Wade decision and then the subsequent decisions that came after it, it's defined as when the fetus becomes viable.
Yes.
And that is that it can live outside the womb,
Yes.
either with or
Independent of the mother.
without artificial aid. And so that generally occurs during the third trimester, which is why third trimester abortions are extremely rare and in many cases illegal.
The groups against this and some of the factions who would otherwise support this are not in favor of it because it would criminalize contraception, and it does not have an exception for rape and incest.
Yeah, there are no exceptions at all.
I must tell you, I would vote for this. Just to be honest with you, just to know, to be clear with you where I am on this. And people have the right to disagree, but I want to be transparent.
I would not.
I understand, and Kevin wouldn't. And I understand that there are people who are worried about any repercussions based on this moving forward. But the people who are doing this are looking for a fight in the Supreme Court. And like we were talking about off the air,
This
you're
is
right.
going to make some lawyers a lot of money. If it passes, and I'm assuming it will, this is going to make some lawyers an awful lot of money.
From what I understand, the law would not outlaw contraception. There are two types of contraceptives. Some contraceptive birth control pills does allow the sperm and egg to come together, and then the baby's trying to implant against the wall and it drops off. But some prevent the sperm and egg from coming together.
That's right.
So it won't be, just an outright outlaw on all contraception.
The way I understand it, though, and certainly not a doctor, and I invite one to call that may understand it better than I do, that would be a condom. What we're talking about with birth control pills is hormonal, which causes the female to reject the egg, and therefore it never implants,
Some do.
whether it's fertilized or not. They all do.
Life as beginning at conception in the state of Mississippi. And we're asking you, do you agree with this? And if this legislation were on the ballot here in Louisiana, would you vote for it? Let's talk about it. 499-9526, 499 WJBO. Barbara Thomas is here with us as well on the conversation talking about this. What do you think? You've heard actually both sides of the argument in the last couple of phone calls.
Well, I'm definitely for the bill. I would definitely vote for it because of what we've seen over the years dealing with the pregnancy, the woman, and all of those issues. And I want to point out that 93% of all abortions, are done for social reasons.
Meaning what?
Meaning the mother is not ready to have a child. She's not ready for the responsibility. She feels that she can't afford the child, or she simply has other family members that's going to take care of the child for social reasons, or she can't complete college or high school. So they're purely for social reasons. This other 7% are what we call the hard cases, and that's where the mother's health is at risk. That's 4%. Where the child's health is a problem, 3%, and rape and incest is 0.5%.
So it's a relatively small percentage anyway.
Absolutely.
To impose this part of this on someone else.
Well, first of all, there's no middle ground on this. Either you're pro-life on it or you're not.
Right.
In terms of what she said about the life of the mother, this bill, and I invite people to go where I went online to yeson26.net.
Yeah, that's the website.
And get some information about it. They address all of these issues in there. This bill would not prevent a doctor from saving the life of the mother. That doesn't mean she may have conceived this child doing a rape or incest, but she decides to keep the baby. We have seen many cases like that.
And I know of one.
But that's her prerogative.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also her prerogative to not have the
baby. So if that's the case, if she's just so disgruntled with this baby, she can be offered the adoption option. And if, a lot of counseling and crisis intervention and nurturing to her, she can change her heart and be more sympathetic to the option of adoption.
Because I'm not going to attack the mother or dive on her. She has been a victim clearly in this case. And I don't say anything toward that. However, I believe that the life also deserves protection.
So in this, let's take this to the nth degree then. And we're not talking about adoption. I'm talking about being pregnant, okay? Because after the baby's born, fine, you can put it up for adoption or not. That would then be a legal prerogative of the mother. Either way. But during the pregnancy, mom is being forced by the government to not have an abortion and to carry this baby to term.
If you want,
She decides, I don't want this baby. I'm not going to the doctor. I'm going to drink all I want. I'm going to smoke if I want to. How far are you willing to take this?
I don't know, but I don't change my position.
In other words, what she's maybe
So you're
doing
saying-
is
you're saying-
trying to do everything she can
To kill the child.
To kill the child, maybe legally.
I think the life of the child should be protected.
Okay, so what are you willing to do?
What do you mean? What am I? Am I willing to put her in jail?
Are you
if she-
willing to force the mother to not do these things?
What do you mean when you say force the mother?
Hospitalize her, strap her down if you have to.
I don't know.
Well, you're talking
I don't
about
really
the-
want to engage in that, and you got to know Kevin will go there on you.
I got to know that before 1973,
Yeah.
like the case of the fellow that called earlier,
Yes.
he said we went to Texas.
Yes.
Well, what he didn't say was,
Thank you, Jake.
and he hung up.
Yeah.
But what he didn't say was that his girlfriend had an illegal abortion.
Yes.
I don't know whether she went to a real doctor or not. He didn't say. But there were backroom abortions that were done. There were women that died from infections.
Yes.
And are we going back to that with this?
Well, if I might answer.
Yeah.
You're always going to have people who disobey the law and not do
Sure,
anything.
people use drugs all the time, and
And-
people speed.
Right, and you're going to have those who defy the
Yeah.
word, the Bible, defy what's morally right. You're gonna always have those people among us. So we who know better really should be the ones that are to explain and nurture and correct what's going on. as
Yeah, but
best
that's
as we
like you
can.
said. That's
So-
that's not going to happen though. That will happen in some cases, but not in all
Right.
cases. So what do you do with a doctor that's found to be doing abortions?
After it's illegal,
After-
after he should be prosecuted
That's
and dealt
right.
with like a criminal.
Full extent of the law.
Yeah.
All right. And
All right.
what will that be, by the way?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't
that
think
hasn't
this
been determined
It
yet.
has not been determined, and I wonder what it will be.
Now let's squeeze maybe one more in here. Let's get Paul in at 499-9526. Hey, Paul, go ahead quickly.